Hey folks, this is Jake Davis bringing my top 5 video for you today, ranking down my picks for the best supporting actors of 2019. This is my second of 6 videos, going through the best of the year. Thanks for watching, so let's get into it. Number 5, so I'm going to say Alessandro Nivola for The Art of Self-Defense. Nivola isn't known for being the best actor. He was the cartoonishly over-the-top Paulitz Troy in Face Off, and he was everybody's least favorite Jurassic Park character, Dr. Billy, in Jurassic Park 3. But he's not like that in this. He's really terrific. He plays a vicious and misogynistic dojo cult leader that goes only by Sensei. It's a insane film, and it's a very, very dry, deadpan performance, but it's just also very, very intense. It's a terrific performance, and it's one of my favorite performances of the year, hands down. And I think The Art of Self-Defense is a movie that really got overlooked by a lot of people. I enjoyed it very, very much. With all the kind of people actually talk, the kind of shit I really like. One of those phrases, buzzwords get thrown out there all the time is toxic masculinity. I think it's utter bullshit. There's no such thing. But the kind of themes that people kind of like throw back in this, like, macho-ness, misogynist, this kind of alpha dog kind of mentality. This movie plays on those kind of tropes and shows, of course, the negative sides of behaving like this, but also shows the benefits of things like this, like, confidence and well, actually, self-defense is its own reward. It's important to know how to defend yourself. Anyhow, number 4. I'm going to say, it's hard to pick on which one for this, but I'm going to go with Bill Hader for It Chapter 2. As much as I really love Bill Skarsgård, he's probably my all-time favorite movie monster. But, his real show-off, he's great in It Chapter 2, but he really got to show off in that first one. Not to take away from anyone in the second one. But, Pennywise is just a little different after the events of the first part. He's not as strong, he's not as colorful as he was in the first one because he took the beating he did. Now, Bill Hader is really, really great in this movie, playing the adult version of Richie Tozier. Not only just playing a faithful version of that character in general, but you really get the sense and the feel that this is the adult of the kid you saw in the first movie. Brought a lot of character, a lot of nuance, a lot of heart to Tozier, and quite frankly, by the end of the day, his performance made Richie the most interesting of the adult losers. Number 3 is Jake Gyllenhaal for Spider-Man: Far From Home. Gyllenhaal's terrific in this. I remember about 15 years ago, or maybe it was short of that. Maybe it was around the time he did Prince of Persia, which was awful. He had said something along the lines that there was all these rumors about, him playing Superman, maybe him playing Captain Marvel, the Shazam one, and maybe him even doing, I think at one time, there was, I don't remember if it may have just been rumors, but when Tobey Maguire suffered a back injury working on Seabiscuit, they were a little worried that he wasn't going to be able to do Spider-Man 2. And the story was Jake Gyllenhaal was working as an understudy at the time. I don't really know how true that is. That may have just been something that got cooked up by the press because Gyllenhaal was dating Kirsten Dunst at the time. But the thing is, Gyllenhaal had kind of expressed it wasn't so much that he wasn't interested in doing comic book movies because he was a comic book fan, I guess, or something like that. But he really didn't feel like that was the kind of movie people would expect to see him in. But then, years go by, and then you got something really prestigious. Like, I personally think if you're an actor's actor, how would you not want to be part of something like the MCU, something so vast and, so full of memorable characters? But his Mysterio is a villain. Quentin Beck is a villain from the comics I never really thought would work in a film. All this illusion and shit like this, but boy, did they pull it off. They nailed it with Mysterio. The big reveal scene, yeah, sure, them playing like it's a surprise was really the only way it could work, but anyone going into it, knowing the comic books, knows the guy, even if you don't, you're pretty sure the guy named Mysterio is going to end up being a villain. But the reveal scene is I love this way they do that scene because it's basically a typical villain runs down this plan, but it as this celebratory braggart with all his kind of thing in their toast to Mysterio. It's really a great sequence. I also love the scene where he is just basically doing the grunt work of working on the fucking the projectors, the holograms, and just working out the details and the glitches to him. I thought that was a great scene. But one thing you really gotta say about the MCU Spider-Man movies, whereas yeah, sure, Tom Holland's terrific, and to their credit, they do their own thing with Spider-Man, and it's great. I love the teenage shit, the high school stuff. But what really made those two films special to me was the showcase performances from terrific character actors in the villain's role. First with Michael Keaton, and now with Jake Gyllenhaal. Number 2, Willem Dafoe for The Lighthouse. Willem Dafoe in The Lighthouse. Now it may seem improbable that he'll get Oscar nominations 3 years in a row, but it's definitely happened before with plenty of people. I think Meryl Streep got nominated for an Oscar like 10 years in a row at one point of her career. But you got Dafoe is the grizzled veteran head of the lighthouse, and he runs his rock like a tyrant. Well, basically, if you haven't seen it, The Lighthouse is a beautifully photographed black and white horror movie. I consider it a horror movie. It's nightmarish as all hell, but it's also surreal. And even though I saw this movie, I love this movie, I cannot tell you what this thing is ultimately really about, what's happening. I mean, I got theories, but I think that's kind of supposed to be the idea. It's supposed to make you wonder, what the fuck did I just see? That was great, but what the fuck? Pattinson, of course, is great in the movie, but Dafoe's performance is just really, I mean, towering. It's great. Chilling, but also hypnotic. He's really, really great in it. And when I first saw I was like for 3 days doing an impression of him. Oh, you best leave the bird be, boy. All that kind of stuff. But it was great. And my number 1. My pick for the best supporting actor of the year is obviously Brad Pitt from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Brad Pitt's, it is to me the defining performance of his career and an instantly iconic character created by Quentin Tarantino. Cliff Booth, who is an aging, pseudo-retired stuntman, who even though he's not really, I mean, he's not rich, he's not what you would say settled in his life, or settled down in his life. He's not really a contemptuous man, doesn't seem to want for anything. He's very at peace at what and where he is in his life. And he's also very kind of a wild man, you know, whether it be sparring, having fist fights with Bruce Lee, or collecting teeth from the Manson family. Fucking Cliff Booth is a wild man and truly one-of-a-kind personality. The relationship between him and Rick Dalton is truly touching and genuinely, it just works. It works on every level. It feels like a real friendship, a real platonic friendship of people who actually care about each other. And just, you could probably argue because it was a amount of screen time that it's a lead role, but you know, he's gonna be he's being campaigned for best supporting actor, and somewhere right now in South America, some kid is in a cave digging up the gold that's going to be melted down and formed to create the Oscar Brad Pitt's going to win in a few months. So that's my list. And I guess I'll give you a few honorable mentions here. Of course, Bill Skarsgård in It Chapter 2. His Pennywise is this what movies are made out of, baby, and can't imagine. I had all kinds of ideas of who should play Pennywise when they first announced it. Now I can't imagine anyone but him. Even Tim Curry, with all Tim Curry's greatness. It's Bill Skarsgård's role. Jack Dylan Glazer in Shazam as Freddie Freeman. He brought a lot of heart and humor to the film and was just just essential to the story and the success of that movie all around. And, both in it and this, he just, to me, shows confidence in his screen presence and understanding of his character beyond his years. Don't sleep on this kid. He might sneak up on us and become a fucking major movie star down the line. I loved Richard Roundtree's, 10 minutes in Shaft. I know a lot of people didn't like Shaft. I fucking loved Shaft. Shaft was great. And yeah, Richard Roundtree coming in at the end of the movie and damn near steals it from everybody. And it's not easy to steal a movie from Samuel L. Jackson. And finally, I'd say Kelvin Harrison Jr. for Luce, the manipulative former future cult leader and ruler of the world. That he is definitely going to be a manipulative and sinister young man and brilliant young man who, in high school, has already created this grasp of power on his peers that he puts fear, utter fear, in the heart of his parents and teachers. It's an interesting film, even though it's there's not really an ending. Anyhow, yeah, man, that's my list. Hope y'all liked it. Hope y'all enjoy. What did you like about 2019? Have you even heard of The Art of Self-Defense? Tell me what you liked. What'd you like? Come back, watch my next videos, watch my other videos. I got over 200 videos, and they're all just close-ups of me talking off a script with this great face. Anyhow, y'all have a wonderful day. I might put out another one later today. I gotta do 4 more of these after all. I'm Jake Davis, and I'll catch y'all on the fly.